Mindfulness. It's a word that's bandied about quite a lot these days. And I'd like to say something about where it comes from in the Buddha's contribution to the whole world of contemplation. As we understand it, when he was around, mostly what was around were concentration practices. Yeah, you've probably heard of the jhanas, very high states of concentration, states that we shouldn't fret about too much because it's unbelievable how they have mapped in these very, very deep states of concentration. And they're quite deep. And the Buddha, it is said, attained all of them, the highest states of concentration possible. Yeah? They've mapped these states so that there is no state more than this, beyond this. They've mapped them to the end of what the mind can do to focus on one object, to become absorbed in one object, totally absorbed, 100% absorbed in one object, to the point where even if someone rang a huge gong right next to me, it wouldn't even register to be heard. The mind would be so deep in concentration. Yeah. And the Buddha attained these very, very deep states of concentration, and what comes from them, as the mind goes deeper in concentration, is a sense of peace and ease and sweetness, called sukha, or piti is another of the words. It's a very pleasurable sensations in the mind and body. And it's the peace that comes from things no longer bothering the mind. So the afflictive states of mind at a certain point, concentration practice, no longer get in. Yeah, there's actually a protection in there. The holding environment is so sweet and so enduring that this other more challenging mind states don't come in. And that was considered to be, a liberated state of mind when concentration gets that deep. Yeah. Well, except the Buddha said, yeah, this is all good. It's amazing, but these states don't last. They're also still states. And when I come out of concentration meditation, I feel a little, refreshed and so forth. But when somebody steps on my toe, all the usual suspects start to arise in the mind again as it starts to interact, as the senses start to work. All the old patterns start to arise again. And so, okay, maybe I just need to go back and concentrate some more, and for longer periods of time. And he kind of explored the range of what's possible in concentration meditation. He still found it lacking, and that's where he, the story goes, did something rather novel, which is he took that concentration that had been developed and decided to turn it to everything else going on in the mind and body, moment by moment. So what if I just stay with one thing, moment by moment by moment, everything else that's going on, and not stay with one thing anymore? That's the turning moment. That's where concentration, and then the qualities, the skill set of concentration that's been developed is now turned outward in a laser-like focus for one thing after another. This is what we can tend to forget. I would rather forget, in a way, is that yes, he opened up the field of awareness, but not until his concentration was as strong as it can possibly be. Not until there was no spacing out at all happening. None. So that when he opened his concentration, it was like there are no gaps. There's no mind wandering, and he had to come back. Oh, the mind's wandering again. Let me come back. No wandering. No wandering. And in that non-wandering, things unfolded very quickly. he could start to see the nature of the mind very, very quickly, some of the qualities of the mind that he hadn't seen before its concentration was like this. It wasn't the usual thought patterns, spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. It wasn't the psychological kinds of insights. It wasn't planning mind, worrying mind, anxious mind. It was like seeing moment to moment to moment what was going on. And not in the content of the mind, but the process of the mind. And this is the other key, of course, because we are so attached to content, to the contents of our minds and our thoughts, to the stories, yeah? That even when we have some concentration, and that's still where our mind goes, more, oh, now I understand the story even better. Now, oh yeah, this thing that I've been puzzling about, I can kind of, oh, a different kind of solution comes up. This is cool. Oh, and look at this lovely reminiscent memory that I have. It's beautiful. Oh, this other insight about this place where I'm stuck. We still want to take it to psychology, take it to the ways that we know how to make meaning. We still don't naturally tend to look at the processes of the mind. We go straight to content. When the mind wanders, where does it wander to? Content, in one way or another, right? Story, in one way or another. The story of me, the story of the world, the story of how I'm not good enough, the story. The kind of mindfulness that the Buddha talked about was not the story, not mindfulness of story, not following story, but beginning to notice the processes of the mind. And we'll be doing some of these guided meditations because we don't do them. We don't do them. They aren't natural to us. One of the first ones is seeing how impermanent everything is. Really impermanent, not just kind of impermanent. We see things as, oh yeah, I kind of get that they're impermanent. No, more than that, really starting to look at how nothing lasts for more than a second. It doesn't matter what it is, you see, that's showing up now. For us, what happens is this shows up and, oh, I got to follow that. Oh, yeah, let me follow. It doesn't matter what shows up. It's beginning to not follow anything that shows up. And simply notice it's changing moment to moment to moment. Now this thought, now that thought, now this feeling, now that sound, and then beginning to notice the cause and effect relationships between one moment and the next. But again, not relative to the story. Just boom, 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 split second to second after second after second after second. Is it true? Is anything staying here? Is anything staying here at all? It's beginning to notice the impermanence of what's going on when we start to look at other things, yeah? It's beginning to see the non-solidity of anything in there. It's so much of the mindfulness practice about seeing there's nothing compact in here. We make everything compact. When we look carefully, it's not compact. It's all more like water than rock. But we have to look and see if that's so. Our thoughts aren't solid. Our feelings aren't solid. Body sensations aren't solid. Everything is changing all the time, every moment. Not every minute, every moment. And that's, is that really so? You see, these are the kinds of the directions of mindfulness, yeah? Beginning to notice that when the mind has this kind of a thought, the body responds in this kind of a way. Oh, I never noticed that before. There's no such thing as having an anxious thought that doesn't register in the body somewhere. Not ever. But so many times we have thoughts and we're not aware of how they're registering in the body. Well, let's look more closely at that. It doesn't matter what the thought is. Just notice there's the thought, and then this body sensation. This thought, then this body sensation. Anxiety, thought, breath tightens. And then another fear image comes in the mind. Oh, look at that. The trail of that. Also, notice how not in control you are. This is a Buddhist insight. Really notice how you're not in control of your own mind. Very much at all. You know? We can't even calm ourselves down. We can't stop. You know, a difficult thing comes up, difficult things come up. We can't stop it, even. Not really. We're swept away. Notice how we keep getting swept away, dragged away, pulled away. Notice how we're held hostage. How does this happen? What's going on here? It's noticing the ways we tighten and contract and constrict and push and pull and control and orchestrate and want to move impermanent bits around and replace them with other impermanent bits all the time. You know, those are the kinds of insights. Those are the kinds of directions that the Buddha wants to take us in terms of mindfulness. Yeah? Those are the kinds of insights that lead to the kind of freedom, the deeper kind of peace that the Buddha talked about. Concentration leads to the peace of mind where difficult things don't show up anymore, because the mind has gotten so good at creating a sweet and peaceful holding environment, which is a great skill set. Okay? But the peace of mind of mindfulness is that the stuff that was bothering us before no longer bothers us. And we've learned to create a more harmonious relationship to the whole range of experience by not tightening so much, not squeezing so much, not pushing, pulling, not being averse, not being greedy, not grabbing, not pushing. And it's a different kind of contentment. It's discovering a different kind of contentment. And doesn't happen by rearranging our stories. Yeah. So this is the direction of mindfulness, and we'll explore these, and we'll do some of these practices together. There'll be invitations. You know, today we'll just do a little one on impermanence. Yeah, we'll just do a little one on mindfulness of just noticing how things keep changing.